people realize that climate change is not affecting in one century, it's affecting right now. So that needs to recycle, repair, and put it on the market.
Do you resell as well? Or?
Yeah, we resell. Today, revenues in reselling moving 40% up every year. The first mission of the CEO of the company is to make this company alive. We are fighting with huge worldwide players on digital, and we need to find our own way to compete. The digital business is around 25% of the total business, even if we are still having 1,000 stores. So this complementarity between digital and physical store is today the key success of the company. And make the service a big pillar of our own model and profitability to support our development. And to do that, one of the more efficient ways to do on the subscription. We have around 11 million customers. We can consider they are loyal members with a program subscription. So that was the moment there was a huge, fear. Nobody. You need to fail, right? And fail fast. And try to recognize really fast that your consequences will fail.
Here's Paula Macadi, and this is the 4th episode of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. This episode is about a retailer that I truly love. Probably 90% of my books and lots of my electronics I bought at FNAC, which is a place that inspires culture in more than 13 countries with 1,000 stores and more than 25,000 employees. I went to Paris and visited FNAC's headquarters, where I interviewed Enrique Martinez in front of the beautiful river Seine. He started as a store manager and many years later became the CEO. You can see in the interview how passionate he is for the business and for the everyday project that they announced a few years ago. But before we dive into the interview, I would like to kindly ask you to subscribe to the show either on YouTube or your favorite podcast provider. It means a lot to me and you never miss an episode. I promise I'll work super hard to deliver the best content to you. And this episode was only possible thanks to Amazon Web Services, who provides a highly reliable, scalable infrastructure platform in the cloud, empowering hundreds of thousands of businesses in 190 countries around the world. Well, I'm very happy today to be in Paris at the headquarters of a retailer that I love. And I don't say that very much, right? Like, it's not that I'm a very, very good consumer of FNAC. I spend a lot of my money there. So
thank you.
I'm very excited to be here sitting with you. I would say Enrique Martinez, but I can also say Enrique Martinez. Did I get it right?
Beautiful accent.
Thank you. My Spanish is not that good, but he speaks 5 languages. Yeah, well, he gets it much better than me. But what is impressive about FNAC is that it has almost 1,000 stores, 25,000 employees, spread at around 13 countries. And that's a lot to manage, isn't it?
It's a great team. It's a great pleasure to be in this job, for sure. But FNAC and Darty today, there's more than a company. It's like a way of life for me.
Really? What does it mean?
Doesn't mean that the investment, the investment is the whole life investment on my side. I'm 25 years in the company. We feel that doing this job, I'm a part of something that is more big than us, especially with all this positioning about the ecological transition for the company. And also it's FNAC and Darty, their companies, they are fighting in an ecosystem where it's very competitive. And passing for the next generation, these companies is something that is a very, very deep engagement. You
started at FNAC as a store manager.
Yes.
And you made your way to the top. You are now managing everyone. Is that something that FNAC does for its employees? Is it something that you enforce? Do you grow your leadership? How do you do that?
Globally, commerce is a place that the people can make careers. And it's not unusual that the people, when they were young, they start in the middle management position, and they have opportunities to move around other countries, other cities, other jobs. So we call it ascenseur social. So it means that there's people that can can achieve better and better position in the company, and for that they have a huge investment and they make long careers. So for sure, having this position in my company for the employees of FNAC Darty proves that it's more than possible to be one of the leaders of the company.
That's amazing. And well, as I said, I love FNAC. I've been there many times in many countries, and it's a place that I go to enjoy myself. And when I try to explain what FNAC is for people that haven't seen it, I don't know, I describe it as a cultural hub, because it isn't a store you go buy books. You have so much happening there. You have live music, you have presentations. How do you describe FNAC?
It's very difficult to describe someone who's not in our countries and is a frequent customer. So the way I want to do it is FNAC is a trendy space, and that in a few minutes you can be aware about what is happening in the culture and technology and other things in your society. So this is our job. Our job is moving on and choosing and putting what we think that the customer need to know about the things that are moving in technology and culture. And for sure, there's beautiful space, independent vendors. There's a lot of things that add to this concept, which is quite unique. And it's a reason for the one who want to fight for keep this concept alive in the digital world.
And what you sell is very unique, because you have like the book department, and then you have music instruments, you have vinyl, you have toys, you have electronics. It's hard to put FNAC in a box, or this is an electronic store, this is a bookshop. You are everything. How do you do that? Because there's something different there. What makes it different?
I think the difference is we have been working for a few decades for this category. So we have grown with for example, with the technology. Since the beginning, we entered the first magnetoscope and we move on the technology, and we have been helping the customer to understand the evolution of the technology. So our stores, they're moving also with the technology. We are not quite different from we were 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. And that's the thing. I love one of the sentence of one of the creators of FNAC, André Essel, say that FNAC is not a photographic frame, it's a movie. You know, you need to be quite fair about your past, but you cannot stay in your past. You need to move on, because society, customers, they move on. So if they move for electrical vehicles, we need to help them to understand what is this, and what you choose the best one, have a good advice, a good service. So we have been starting on technology and culture, and today I think we feel the FNAC brand. That is other thing, we can talk about it after, but FNAC brand is something that is bigger than its own store, and that's quite important, and that's we are trying to build on this brand on the digital space, also in the stores.
I'm very interested in the digital space, because when did you start? 25?
98.
Okay.
1998.
E-commerce wasn't something that everybody knew about.
No.
You guys started early there.
Yes.
But I think you still had to explain what internet was for a lot of people when you started. How did you develop? Because you have a big digital influence. You have 24 million visitors, unique visitors monthly, just in France, and you're present in 13 countries. So how did you manage to grow this?
Yeah, you say that. We start in 98. Christmas 98, we start testing the e-commerce platform. It was just from the beginning of the digital world. And we feel that was a good way to propose to the customer more than the store can support in terms of catalog. Because we show today in books, we propose more than 1.5 million different books. In store, the biggest can have 150,000. So there was that kind of inability to propose to the rest of the catalog. So when internet arrives, was the opportunity to connect the stores to something else. So we decided to do it from the beginning. And our products, if you remember at that time, we are quite young, but in that time, first products moving to the digital was books, music for the streaming. And at that time was not legal streaming, but after it comes, and right after the technology. So it's just the core, just the heart of the offer of FNAC. So our customer, they move quickly also with digital, and we help them to okay. And today, our digital business is around 25% of the total business, even if we still having 1,000 stores. So this complementarity between digital and physical store, this is today the key success of the company.
Yeah, I was researching a lot about the company, preparing for this interview, and I saw a lot of the use of the word omnichannel. So you are integrating the customers between all the channels you have.
Yes.
How do you manage 13 countries though? Because you have different levels of maturity, different levels of labor availability, different levels of warehouse, robotics. How does it happen? I don't know. That seems very challenging for me.
No, I think one of the key areas, and I think this was also always from the beginning, the culture of the companies, leave the country to create their own history. I mean, we have a global concept. FNAC, you can find the FNAC in Geneva is quite similar on an architectural offer from Paris or Madrid or Lisbon. But the way that the company is operated locally with the local teams, and is really adapted to the market, the size, competitors, the customers.
So it's not like you bring a solution and just spread it to like it
No,
has.
Even in terms of offer, we try to do as more local we can, and each country has its own warehouse, its own team. For sure, from Paris, we try to help them with the technology issues, things that are not localizable, but everything is related to the customers, local customers. It should be made by local teams, and that thing was one of the key success. Comparing with other global brands operating in our market, they fail in that time. They try to impose one single model in all the countries, and in culture, it's not the way.
So if you decide that you're opening a new FNAC in a new market now, what would be the step? Would you go to find people local to understand how is the...
Yes, understanding the market, the customers, what is a place for someone like us, because it's not obvious that customer loves to have the experience and they want to go to the store. There are other markets that the people, they are much more practical. So it's, FNAC store you mentioned is quite a unique concept, and it to be fit in a specific space, and when the customer, they enjoy and they are able to make an effort, go to the store and do this kind of thing. So this is the kind of thing we discuss. And after, if we understand that the market is good for us, the second is the teams and locations, because for our business, locations are critical. You don't go in Europe, you don't go once a month to a store if you need to take too long to go there. So that's why from the beginning of FNAC, stores are placed on the best main streets, e-commerce platforms, malls in the big cities. So we try to do in the premium space to make possible that the customer came frequently. Well, one of the key success of our business model is a frequency. Frequency not just for online, but also in the stores. Because we know that every time customer come to the store, it's a good chance that they find something that is not even looking for example, a new book or a new vinyl or whatever. And that's the magic of the content. You don't come to a FNAC for a specific reason. You come to FNAC to see FNAC, and you leave the store with something probably what you haven't even looked for.
That's true. That always happens to me. I always like, well, I can leave this place without checking FNAC, and I always come back with 5 books or something. Yeah. It's incredible.
Well, it's incredible. I think this is the magic of this concept that put you in front of choices. They're not not especially that you're in your profile or the thing you are supposed to read or to know, because it's, today in the digital world, we are more and more exposed to the things that are very, very close to our own profile. And coming to the store, they leave you on your own space and give you opportunity to see different things.
And I like that it has different languages. It's a very cultural mixed approach that you have in terms of
You can find an author that is signing books or presenting.
Or music, I've seen bands, and the last time I was there was a guy playing violin at the front. I was like, wow, this is like
it's part of the
something that I'll bring like a family, let's go to FNAC this Sunday. It's something entertaining.
It's a family, yeah. Some customers, they say that I love to come to with my kids, same I used to came with my father. This is quite strong. This is the things that you move a generation after generation. And the people, they really want to, in some moment, leave this digital world to come to other things. And FNAC is part of that's the reason that today we have the top loved brands in their countries, is because we have a part of this experience space that for the customer, I think is really important.
Well, that makes me wonder, what did you do during the pandemic? Because if the store is so important, for the business, how did you manage? It's nice that you had already a strong digital presence.
Yeah. We used to have at that time less than 20% on digital, means that 80% was store. And even the 20% digital for us is related to the store because the omnichannel. So in fact, more than 90% of the business, it touched the store in a certain moment. So when pandemic arrives, no one expects us in your life to see that happen. And to close the store, all the stores in the same day, was a huge experience, very strong. Probably the biggest and the deepest in our lives, or in careers, I hope. No. For the moment, let's see what happens in the future. So it was, I don't know, a nightmare in the sense that it was everything unexpected, and you don't know what will be the outcome, even in the future for the company. If it takes, I don't know, 6 months to the pandemic disappear, how many customers will die, how many people in the company, what will be the future and everything. So that was the moment there was a huge, fear, nobody. But right away we feel that customers, in particular in that time, they need to continue to live in. And living means entertaining themselves, working and cooking, because restaurants were closed, so the basic things. And we feel that quite soon the demand on their products in internet multiplied by 6. So it was kind of unexpected.
Did you have the infrastructure to manage all the?
In fact, yes, because that happened in March. And in our business, the seasonality in Christmas, in Black Friday period is huge. Well, it can multiply by 10. So in fact, in March, we're in the lowest, and we have the space on the system, logistics, everything. So we managed to absorb all the demands. Was a problem with shortage on products because suppliers wasn't expecting either, so the products were really far from Europe. But we multiplied by more than 4, between 3 and 4 some categories, and we managed for these, during these 2 months, but the shutdown were in their main countries, to compensate around 50% of the business on the stores, what is unexpected. And for sure, after they came, when the stores opened, and that was a huge sales coming from their own main categories. So we moved quite quickly for their other cycle on sales. But the thing I retained for this period, for sure, these adventures on closing and open, was the strong mobilization for the teams. Everybody was at home because we shut down all the buildings. So the first time in our lives, it was stay at home to work. And the way that everybody reacts and do the best themselves to move on and to find solutions, everyday solutions were quite fast, was really impressive. And this is something that we will remain all my life, and how the people, they fight to survive. It's kind of, you put it in I think the human being when it's under pretty difficult condition is when we can find the resources, self to really go really farther. And that's what happened in the COVID. And that gives us a lot of good information about what we thought that it was impossible to do. And at that time, with limited resources, we managed to do. So this is good times.
I think in every industry, everybody had to come up with new solutions and new ways to work and etc. And we're still seeing the impact until now.
Yes.
Did you acquire more clients because of the pandemic, like a bigger influx? Because I know that in 2021, which was still the pandemic, FNAC announced, FNAC Darty, or Darty, announced the Everyday Project.
Yes.
I would love to know more about it. What made you come up with this memo, with this plan?
As I say, we learned a lot during the COVID, and we learned that the world will change. There will be few things we need to fix in our concept to follow the trends and to be sure that we continue to be a reference for the customers and the society in their products. And there were 2 or 3 key areas we should improve, and we decided to don't waste our time and to launch it right away after 2021. And there were things, I think, during the COVID, people realized that the climate change is for sure. What I mean is, before was there's some controversy. The people say yes, no, I don't know, leave me alone. I don't care. The people.
I just want to keep doing whatever.
Yeah,
I do.
because when you're talking about it was concerning maybe 10% of the population. They were really concerned about that. The rest is like living in a, And COVID arrives. The people realize that climate change is not affecting in 1 century. It's affecting right now. It means that these things are really moving on, and we saw that there's not time to waste, and we need to move on. So we decide to put it in the first priority, what we can do as a company, as a group, to help not just ourselves in reducing our carbon emission. That is good to know, but not enough. And the key question is how we can help our customers to do also reduction of the carbon emissions. And this is the main frame of the everyday.
The Everyday Project, as I was reading, has 3 pillars. Sustainability is one of them.
Yes.
And you mentioned a lot of circular economy.
Yes.
For the products, I imagine a lot of circular economy when I'm talking about fashion. That's a popular term that they're using now. You don't sell fashion, you sell books, electronics. How are you managing to create a circular economy that?
Circular economy is, let me tell you, the key area for us is not circular economy, is to extend the life cycle of products. This is the way we can have a huge impact. So repairs and putting the customer using properly the product for longer. This is the key thing, and this is the way that I think the carbon emissions and the impact on the whole ecosystem is the highest. But there are some products that the people, they don't need to have all the time, and they can put it in this circular economy in a way. You mentioned on the fashion, but books can be, you can enjoy a book and after doesn't care, keep it or moving, and moving for the next reader can have an impact, and we are doing now. Probably the most popular category is the smartphones. The smartphones in circular economy is doing huge volumes. First of all, because they're a very expensive product, and the customer does not have access all the time for the premium. So it's quite helpful for them to keep this product living for longer and having access for cheaper price for the customer. So that needs to recycle, repair, put it on the market. And
do you resell as well? Or?
Yeah, we resell. Today, revenues in reselling is going 40% up every year. The only limitation is to have access to the product. Because the customer today, they are really willing having recycled products. The statistics saying in France, one customer each two has been selling and buying or selling or buying second-hand products. Well, it's quite amazing when you can imagine. These statistics, I don't know, 5 years ago was probably only 10 or 15%, now today we're 15, and they became a huge trend for consumption is impacting retailing. So,
do you think when you communicate the sustainability efforts, you're talking to a generation specifically, or it's more?
Yeah, you know, we say that before COVID it was only 10%. Probably that multiplied by 3 or 4. There's still having people that doesn't care, but that's what it is. But I think it's not only for young generation, it's for all across all generations. There are people that are more aware about their impact on the climate change and how we can, as a customers, as citizens, to do things. And in both ways, they want to be better citizens, but they're really demanding about the companies, how they put specific things in place, not just reporting, but doing things that have impact for sure. And in companies like us, we are very public, we have millions of customers. I think this is a key part of their company image today, so yes, it counts a lot.
The other pillar that you have is new standards for digital and human omnichannel retail. I'd love to understand more on what you mean by that.
I mean that we are fighting with huge worldwide players on digital, and we need to find our own way to compete. We will never be as efficient, as big as Amazon is worldwide, because by definition, we are only in a few countries and we are smaller than these companies. They have unlimited resources to invest in digital. We are a medium company, can say like this. So if you can compete with someone in this own field, you need to find a different way. And the only way that we believe is the best way is this omnichannel world. And we have been working in the last 15 years to integrate everything, system, logistics, people, experience in the store. And I think we need to move even further. For example, when you go to an e-commerce platform, sometimes customers are very frustrated when they need to have advice, not for a robot, but for a real person. And since COVID, we decided to do that, to allow to the vendors to be on the platform, to have contacts, videos, chats with it. But when you are in FNAC or in Darty.com, if you want, there's a vendor in a city in France, it can be in Paris, it can be in Lyon, it can be in Marseille, that it can have live video through the store to give you the advice you need to go for a purchase. And that's really valuable for the customers.
It is. And the third pillar was about this subscription-based home assistant service. Yes. Why? What is it and why?
You know, retail is a business that is very funny, but 1st of January, we start from zero. And every year is the same. And it's really based on transactions, it's really based on products, and it's low margin, huge reach, a lot of people, and that's the way that the business has been developed. Today's services is more and more important for us, the way we serve the customers, we retain them to make them happy. So we think that one of the ways to move on the future with the company is to make this part of the business bigger and bigger, or make the service a big pillar of our own model and profitability to support our development. And to do that, one of the more efficient ways to do on the subscription. This is the way you can do your service in a better way, because you can anticipate, you can be prepared, you can invest on, and also you reward better your more loyal customer because they engage with you in different ways.
And once they're paying, they always stick to you, I imagine.
Yeah, they pay because they're happy with. Today, you cannot retain a customer that is not happy. They need all the time. Us as a customer, we do also the same mathematical calculation. You keep if you think you are happy for your money even more. So we need to be sure that the service we propose, they are adding value all the time in different ways, repairing, having additional service, having access to specific things, products, whatever. And if the customers are happy, they stay for longer and we can invest in it more. And today we have around 11 million customers. We can consider they are loyal members with a program subscription, and they pay in a certain way to do that. And that's one of the biggest, strongest for the company. So we need to even go further. The question is how much we can do for them. For example, one of the ideas we are looking for is how we can help them to reduce their energy consumption at home. There's a lot of things we are doing as a company for us. The buildings, they're smart, we invest in. And for the consumers, there is something that they are a little bit lost. And can imagine things we can. This is exciting work for us.
Like by proposing electronics that consume less energy, things like that.
Yes, and having access with the good experts that you go to their home is very important when you open your house to be sure that the people that are coming, there are some guarantee that is good people in a certain way, in many ways. So the fact we can provide this experience through us, this is something that for the customers has a lot of value. And for us, I think it's just the beginning for the new adventure in terms of company development and evolution is this service can add a lot of value for the retail business.
Well, all that seems very complex, and I'm sure you need a lot of technology partners to go through this journey with you. How do you select them? How do you find this next partner if they have a good proposal for you? And how do you manage the cost of building something in-house or with technology partners?
Listen, lucky us, we have a really good team on IT because today we are really depending on the IT capabilities because everything is digital. Everything is moving really fast. And there's a lot of challenges to keep the level of competition through the industry, integrating more and more value to the data, connecting the system, multi-channel, whatever. Moving to the cloud, generative AI, there's huge opportunities, huge risk also, because cybersecurity is probably one of the top priorities on the risk from the companies today for a few years now. So yeah, this is a way that this is the area that the companies are investing more and more. And probably this is one of the areas for the CEO is the more and more difficult to do the choices between how much, where will we be prioritized through those, because the demand is higher than our own financial capabilities. So I think for my 20 years on general manager, through starting in a country and today for the group, that's one of the things that today I find more difficult to manage and to decide and to be sure that we are not losing momentum, not over expanding, because for sure we need to make some choices all the time. And I think this technology is not even doing our life easier, but probably even more complex.
And 1 year ago, we didn't even hear, we haven't heard about generative AI until we did. And suddenly you have to wait, what should it be?
Yeah, we need to try, we need to be curious, because it's true that you cannot say that you need to be open for everything. After you need to have their own criteria, what is very difficult, because You know, a few years ago was the metaverse, everything was metaverse, and you heard some people, you have the feeling that you are really late on something that failed. So you need to be careful in the moment you decide to go and invest, but you need to be curious about everything that is happening, finding the moment, in the right moment to when is the good opportunity for you. And the only way to do that, to be honest, is to have good teams, because I'm not an expert. I'm curious, but they should be expert. And the thing I've done, and I think is moving on these complexities, trying to be sure that the COMEX team is really close to these IT or digital challenges, because this is something that is critical for the company. So we decide to work very closely in terms of management team with these IT guys to be sure that the decision we take, there's a decision we take together.
I think for a long time, the IT team was just like, those guys, they stay in the corner helping us with the computer, and suddenly they're part of the business decision. Yeah. Every business decision.
They take in our case, they take in around 2/3 of the total investment for the company. So even in terms of capital investment, it's critical. And we know that we are totally depending on system today. In a few days, we will be on Black Friday and Christmas coming. And, you know, 1 hour the system is down, it can put in risk the whole Christmas campaign. So we know how big is the importance for these guys today.
And why don't you say for other retail CEOs that are not investing in sustainability yet?
I think there's a question of when. There's no why. It's when you are engaged, and the moment you need to be advanced, because the customers, there's no return point for us. I think the customers now, they're moving in this space, and after you need to do it. For sure, you need to put a lot of energy, but I think the first mission of the CEO of the company is to make this company alive. So what is difficult is to find a way that how this impact, how you can move your company to make this impact positive in your own evolution. And that's difficult for someone. Maybe that's not even clear today, but they need to find a way, because in 20 years, the companies that will exist, the companies that have been doing this revolution, same way that 20 years ago was the e-commerce revolution. I think today, sustainability revolution is even more violent than digital, and it can be faster.
I agree, actually. I think as a consumer and as a human being in this world, I see everything that is happening. I would love that more CEOs, not even in our industry, but in several industries, was taking that vision that you have. And what do you consider your biggest achievement as a CEO?
It's difficult to say that. Probably I will answer at the end of my career. I'm quite young. I don't want
so far.
So far. So far is to have the support of the team, because we have a big family, few different people, very talented, and be part of this family and support and be supported for a long time. I think this is probably one of the main achievements. And after, in terms of strategic decisions, I think we have taken few ones that help us to move on. And the way that I mentioned, the way we react during the pandemic, COVID, and after, is probably one of the things I feel more proud about it. It's not just me, but as a team, as a company, yeah, probably.
You went through a challenge that made you stronger.
Yeah, for sure, no, that's for sure.
And did you have any failures that you learned from?
Achieve for me, for sure. I'm quite critical about myself and the way we do things, and I'm very demanding. It's a personal, I don't know, the way I am. I never feel 100% happy with everything. So I'm critical in the way we can do farther, better, and the things that we fail, and you know, is normal. Fail is normal because we are in a very complex environment, and it's not even clear that we are deciding today is the best thing to do, but no one knows. So the thing is, you are waiting for to really know, you don't do nothing, and that's even worse. So the fact is you need to, I don't know, prepare, really serious, take the data, because today we have a lot of inputs we can use, but in a certain moment you need to move on. And the way is not, you know, the thing is not the thing you choose, is the way you do it. And sometimes it's better to move on, and if you fail fast, and do other things after, and yeah.
And just learn from it.
Learn from it, and yeah, and recognize them, and be open, and don't be afraid to say your team, we failed, or I failed, I decide. And that's, sometimes I'm quite surprised that you say that, but I think that give you even more credibility when you recognize the thing you have.
Do you think you give your team the right to fail?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, because I know that it's not easy, and I know that it's not obvious. I prefer the fail that when the people, they're not investing enough to succeed. You know what I mean?
They're in the comfort zone, and don't go, not even there anymore.
Yeah, or when the people, they don't really fight for, or their consideration, this is more that perturbs me a lot. But when someone have an idea, go for their work, and is strong, and they fail, and is honest to recognize his fail, is a part of the process. And normally the people, they move stronger than they were before. And you need to fail in your life, and fail fast, and try to recognize really fast that your consequences of fail is not putting at risk the whole thing or the whole family. So.
And my last question, what are you looking forward to 25? I know that we have the Olympics coming soon.
Amazing year in Paris.
What are you looking forward for this year?
No, honestly, everybody as a society is trying to find the positive things to project. I think it has been quite tough as a society for the last 4 years. COVID was a huge shock for us. A lot of people died, a lot of perturbation about the society, the economic transition, and after the war in Europe, it's not far from here. People are dying and killing themselves, and what's happening in the Middle East. So there's a lot of negative things, and probably they will not be resolving really soon. So the fact is, we need to live with that. But at the same time, we need to have some positive things to move on. And Olympics, I think, is a good, honestly, we are quite excited about having this kind of projects in France for next year, in particular in Paris, where it's a beautiful city, where I recommend everybody to come, because everybody's working a lot to do Paris like a best place to be next year during the Olympics, before and after, in all the ways, security, transportation, comfort. I think it will be a nightmare for the Parisians, but for the tourists, will be like a paradise. So, and
a good opportunity for whoever hasn't been to a FNAC yet,
yes,
to go and visit.
Please, we are supporters of the Olympics. We made all the ticketing for them. So we are really engaged on the process, and we are looking pretty much to make this a big success to the French society, to something to be proud, and to start having other things to build on as a society, as a vision. So this is one of the things we are quite excited for 2024.
I'm happy to see some positivity, and indeed
always.
In a tough time, but it will never be an easy time, I think. It's
yes.
always a tough time. So glad to see that there's some positivity for next year, and I'm coming for the Olympics.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me here, and look forward to seeing you in, 6 months?
6 months. Olympics and Paralympics after.
Well, see, so we have a lot of reasons to come back.
And the opportunity to see beach volley near to the Eiffel Tower, come on, this is one in your lifetime.
Yeah,
so
true.
It'll be great.
Coming.
It'll be great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Enrique is a very humane leader, and it was such a pleasure to meet him. I basically go to a FNAC store every week, and whenever I need to buy a book, their website's the first one I check. This Saturday, I'll be traveling to Frankfurt to speak at Ambiente about the retail trends for 2024. And if you're there, please come say hi. And if you have any comments and suggestions, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or email me at ideas@offbounds.tv. See you next Tuesday.